Have you ever thought about this? Governments can take money from you without even imposing taxes. How? And they have been doing this for centuries, every state or kingdom. Let me say something even crazier. Even 80% of people don't realize they are doing this. Governments constantly tell you the same thing. We are working for the economic freedom of our state and your economic freedom. Stability, growth, opportunity. But if you look at history in detail and a bit cleverly, you can see that there is a very different situation behind it. The truth is this: the same system has been continuing for centuries. Only the people change, only the names change. But the system and its rules always stay the same. This system has only one main purpose: to move wealth upward and keep the majority involved because of the system's sustainability. Let me put it simply: inflation. The state wants to distribute, but taxes are not enough. There are two options: either officially increase taxes or secretly reduce the value of money. Which one do you think is easier? Of course, the second one. I thought so too. Ancient Rome did this excessively. At first, Roman money was almost pure silver, but wars increased, expenses grew. So what did the state do? It started reducing that pure silver inside the coins. But from the outside, everything looked exactly the same. Same appearance, same name, only the inside was emptied. What was the result? Prices skyrocketed. People hit the bottom. Those who saved were ruined. But the state continued its spending. This is actually a ghost tax. No one said, "We increase taxes," but everyone was forced to pay. Now I want you to ask yourself a question. Is today really different from the past? No. Today it's just more advanced. Let's go to the Middle Ages. This time the game is forced borrowing. Kings were calling wealthy merchants. You will lend money to the state, basically extortion. And this wasn't something done politely. What happens if you refuse? Sanctions. Confiscation of everything. Even death. Sometimes they said they would repay, but either it was paid too late, or with devalued money, or never paid at all. So the system was still the same. The state always wins. The people or wealthy merchants lose. Then came the 1600s, and the system moved one step up. Now everything looked more legal, more professional. The Bank of England was established, but the reason was simple: war. The state needed money. The wealthy lent money to the state. In return, they received interest. Sounds normal and fair, right? But we didn't ask the critical question: where did that interest come from? From taxes. So, rich to lend money, state to paid interest, people to finance that interest. This was not just an economic system. This was a money transfer mechanism. And this system still continues. In today's world, everything is bigger, different, but still the same. States take huge debts. We are building infrastructure. We are growing the economy. We are creating jobs. But who gets the biggest share of that money? Defense companies, large corporations, bailout packages. Then comes the bill. And that bill comes to you. Taxes increased. Money lost value. Survival became harder. So the debt looks like it was taken for you. But you carry all the burden. Remember the 2008 crisis. Banks took excessive risks, made wrong decisions, destroyed the system. So who saved them? You. Through taxes, through state money, through public money, your own money. What happened next? Did those banks shrink? No. Thanks to you, they grew even bigger. The summary of this system is: profits are privatized, losses are transferred to the public. Now let's look at the retirement system. You pay money every month for years. They say it's for your future. But in most systems, that money doesn't stay in a pool. It is spent. What replaces it? A big promise. We will pay later. but that later will be paid with other people's taxes? Or will you even be alive at that time? So in this system, debt is written into the future. What happens when the population ages? The system struggles. And the solution? They increase the retirement age. Salaries decrease. Even if they don't, inflation destroys them. So again, we see the same thing. The burden stays below. In recent years, a new concept came with ease. Money printing. Trillions. Central banks flooded the market with money. The economy was saved. Supposedly, but for whom? Stock markets exploded. House prices skyrocketed. Assets gained value. But who owns these assets? Of course, the wealthy. What did the average person experience? More expensive rent, more expensive shopping, a harder life. This group suffered the most. And the most critical point, this is not a mistake. This is the result of the system they created. There is also the issue of hidden tax. No one tells you directly, we are taking 10% more tax from you. Instead, what happens? VAT increases. Fuel becomes more expensive. Prices keep rising. That's the hidden tax. What do you feel in this situation? Everything became expensive, but what actually happens is your purchasing power decreases. Your money loses value. So you don't realize it, but you are paying that hidden tax. Maybe the strongest weapon is complexity. Meaning, tax systems are complex. Financial products are complex. Government budgets are complex. Because the more complex it is, the fewer people understand it. And the fewer people understand it, the fewer people complain. In the past, people could see the silver inside money. Today, everything is on digital screens, numbers, tables, graphs. The result is the same. If wealth goes up, the burden stays below. Now let's ask the real question. Why does this matter? Because this system is still continuing. Inflation is eroding your wealth. Debt is increasing. When crises happen, bailouts return again. And most people still say, this is normal now. But it's definitely not. This is a system. History tells us this. This system has always come and will continue to come. It existed in Rome, it existed in the Middle Ages, it exists today. And do you know the worst part? People are not aware of it. Because it's complex. If you don't realize it, you can't defend against it. That's why financial literacy is very important. This is not just about making money. This is a method of protection. If you understand the system and the structure, you cannot be manipulated. If you don't understand, you become the main character of the game. If this video gave you a different perspective, know this. This is just the beginning. On this channel, I explain the real system that is not taught in schools. Subscribe. Because here, you don't just learn money, you learn how money makes moves against you